You're watching Let the Quran Speak. Before our break, we discussed the rites of passage associated with birth. Now we turn to death. What does death mean for a Muslim? How do Muslims prepare for death? And what happens to a dead person? Here with me is Dr. Shabir Ali, President of the Islamic Information Center. So, Brother Shabir, we talked about birth. It's a joyous occasion. What about death? What does death mean for a Muslim?
Well, of course, this is a sad occasion. Death involves, in the Muslim understanding, the separation of the soul from the body. The soul must be that personality which one has cultivated through one's entire life experience. That personality is now removed, so the consciousness of the individual that goes with it is gone, and what remains is the human body, the flesh and blood.
Mm-hmm. So what are the rituals intended to do, Brother Shabir?
Well, first of all, what are the rituals then? When a person is about to die, I mean, if this is what is anticipated, then the relatives and friends should be there reciting some portions from the Book of God. It is especially recommended to recite the 36th chapter of the Quran, known as Surat Yasin, the one that begins with Yasin. And this surah talks a lot about death, about resurrection from the graves, about meeting God on the Day of Judgment, and about eventually being in paradise. So this would, by reciting this on this occasion, not only would we attract the mercy and blessings of God for this circumstance and also for this individual passing, but we would also raise the hopes of this individual to be with God on the, in the life hereafter and to enjoy all of the fruits of God's mercy.
Mm-hmm. I guess we would also encourage the individual to recite the Shahada.
Yes, and this is also recommended highly. The Prophet, peace be upon him, is known to have instructed Muslims when they are present near a person who is dying that they should encourage him to recite the kalima or the creed of the Islamic faith, which basically says there is no God but God, and that Muhammad is the messenger of God.
Now, when a person has already passed away, what do we do for that individual?
Once a person has passed away, one would close the lids of the person's eyes, keep the person's arms straight to the side, and gather the legs together as well. This would all make it easier so that later on, when the body stiffens, it will not be the limbs would not be spread unwieldily, but it will be easier to handle the body and to and this of course will become easier at the time of interment as well. The body eventually will be washed in a ritual manner to make sure that all parts of the body are washed. The idea being that Muslims, when they take their shower, it's not just simply a shower, but there is the idea of being in a state of purity, not only to be cleansed from all of the physical impurities, but also to become spiritually clean. There is a sense of moving into a state of spiritual preparedness to be close to God. So the dead body is prepared in a similar way to be in a pure state because this person is now on a journey to God, want to dispose of the person's body in the most honorable manner possible. The body is then wrapped usually in 3 sheets, let's say an upper covering, a lower covering, and then one large sheet to enwrap the entire set of sheets and also the person's body.
What is the purpose of that?
Again, it's decent handling of the body. We wear clothes as human beings, and we do not like our bodies to be exposed to all and sundry. In a similar way, we expect to be treated when we are passing away, or when we have passed away. Our dead bodies should be treated in the similar manner, and we're treating the dead bodies of our comrades in a similar way, or of anyone for that matter.
In the Western context, people wear regular clothes or their fanciest clothes when they pass away.
Yeah.
So this is a little bit different.
Islam teaches us simplicity in many things, and of course, what we spend in terms of burying the individual, whether it be a fancy coffin and or fancy clothes or other paraphernalia, all of this come to nothing. The clothes, the coffin, all of this will disintegrate if it is placed in the ground. So what's the purpose of all of this pomp? A Muslim thinks of death as a time of meeting God, and we do not need to go in such style. We need to go as simple individuals. The message of Islam is that all of these things, wealth and so on, that might accompany a burial, mean nothing in the sight of God. Prior to Islam, apparently, people used to have this great show at the time of burial, but the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, taught us that what will go with you on your journey to God are your good deeds. So instead of thinking of having a fantastic and magnificent burial, think of having a great life in which you do a lot of good things. That is what really matters. So the burial itself is kept very simple. If a box is used, as is normally done in this country because of the looseness of the soil, then the box should be kept in a simple manner.
Simple wooden box.
Simple, yes. The clothing should remain simple, unstitched clothing, so that it is decent, it is clean, and it is in its own way attractive, but at the same time it depicts the simplicity with which we are going to meet God, and it reflects also on the fact that we came into this world with nothing, and we are also going out of this world with a bare minimum. So that in the end, a Muslim gets the strong impression that this world, with all of its glitter and glamour, it doesn't really matter in the end. What matters is the good character that we have cultivated, that personality, which is now going to meet God.
Tell us about the prayer, the burial, the funeral prayer that is done for a dead person.
Yes, the funeral prayer is a supplication on the part of the living for the person who has deceased, of the deceased person. We are asking God really to forgive this person and all of the Muslims who have passed away.
And what happens with the burial? How does the burial take place?
The burial also is done in a simple way. A hole will be dug in the ground, and the body would be interred, usually with the box, where the earth is soft, so the box helps to at least keep some, give us a sense that the body is being interred in a respectful manner. Muslims are then instructed to drop the dirt into the hole.
Are they supposed to place the body in a certain direction?
Usually the face is turned towards the Kaaba, or the direction in which Muslims pray. Muslims turn their faces towards the sacred mosque in Mecca, wherever they happen to be in any part of the world. So from Toronto, the direction is 54.37 degrees east of north. And so the grave would be so dug that when the person is interred, the face can easily be turned towards the direction in which Muslims pray. So the idea is that even in that state, the Muslim, after leaving this world, wants that his or her body should still be turned in the same direction. Obviously, this is all symbolic. It doesn't matter if the dead body might have been eaten by sharks or blown to bits and now no longer found. It is really the soul of the person that really matters at this stage. But we're doing all of this with the body symbolically to represent our respect for the dead, and also respecting the wishes of the departed person. If this person were treating his or her own body, how would he or she want his or her body to be? And we're putting it in the same way.
All right, thank you for that, Brother Shabir.
You're welcome.
We'll take a break. When we return, we answer questions we've received from you, our viewers.